about is Winnie the Pooh, directed by Steven Anderson and Don Hall. Let's go ahead and watch the trailer and then we can talk about it. In classic hand-drawn animation, Winnie the Pooh returns to the big screen for the first time in 35 years, with a brand new adventure but with all his old friends.
We will have a contest to find a new tale for Eeyore.
While searching for Eeyore's lost tale, the gang mistakes a letter from Christopher Robin, thinking he has been kidnapped by a monster called Baxon, when really he was just going to be back soon.
The 100-acre wood needs the hero Pooh Bear.
Winnie the Pooh shows that any problem can be solved with the help of some very good friends and a little honey. So, we've all just seen it, Winnie the Pooh. Let's talk about it. Wayne, you want to start us off?
I actually really like the story. I feel like this is a really good way to look into what Winnie the Pooh essentially is, because for some people that are really familiar with the storyline, they might find the story to be a little bit hackneyed, a little bit it's been done before. We've all seen this.
I grew up with Winnie the Pooh. Like, I had an Eeyore stuffed animal, and like I was totally engrossed in those animated films, but I kind of felt like this movie wasn't original enough to justify making another one. It's kind of got the familiar storylines, like Pooh needs his honey, and Eeyore still needs his Prozac, but like...
Oh, boo.
Christopher Robin has been captured by a creature called the Baxon.
So the whole Baxon thing, that's been done before as well?
That's the thread that they add in, but I think the problem with that thread is that they don't really commit to it. They kind of bounce around between these smaller threads. And also, just the thing with the Baxon is just kind of strange anyway, because they're all waiting for it to come to them instead of going to try and find it.
But to me, I feel like the whole Baxon storyline is more of just a bridge to kind of connect all of the main characters that we really care about and really show how they are in that kind of situation.
But I feel like when I watched older Disney movies or when I watched older Pooh films, I was not necessarily thinking about that's the story construction and this is what they're doing to try to bring all the characters in. I just was like, this is the magical moment and I loved it.
Yes, but you've also been to film school since then. To me, it's like putting on an old coat. It's something that's well worn, you know exactly where all the holes and all the patches are. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And I don't see what your problem is. This is a good story, well told. So you're like banging on, well, basically John Lasseter for doing what he didn't do in Cars.
Okay.
Right? No, because it's smart, it's sweet, but it's not cloying. It's charming. It wraps itself up nicely at the end. It's kind of a perfect story. There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, let's not like overstate it. I mean,
yeah, like I feel like that jacket metaphor is actually really strong because instead of wearing this kind of nice old jacket that you really think is comfortable, you're sort of wearing this newer version that's almost exactly the same, except it's a little bit stiffer and not as fresh.
To me, there's something about bringing in a new generation to seeing this thing on the big screen, in the dark, in the collective. I think that's important. And you know what? I can't afford a new wardrobe like you can, Brian. So you know what? I'm going to wear that old jacket.
I'll buy you a new jacket, okay?
What did you guys think about the casting for Winnie the Pooh, and in particular of the leads?
Well, Jim Cummings has done Winnie the Pooh and Tigger since the 90s, and he's fantastic. He does a great job. The rest of the cast, for the most part, is kind of people that we haven't really heard much about. And I think they do a really good job of bringing new life to the roles without really altering the heritage of Winnie the Pooh. Craig Ferguson plays the owl, but I didn't really notice him. I didn't know that it was Craig Ferguson ahead of time, and I thought that he did a really good job. And if you had an A-lister playing Winnie the Pooh, that would be all you could hear. If it was Tom Hanks, you'd be like, all I can hear is Tom Hanks. That's it.
Well, speaking of people that take you out of it and they're all you can hear, I feel that like one of the things that was really difficult for me about this film was Zooey Deschanel in the score. And I think there was this fine line of someone being cloying and preciousness, and she just walked it right into my heart and made me want to hurl.
Deep in the 100-acre wood where Christopher Robin played.
I thought she suited the feel of the Winnie the Pooh.
I think that she was so noticeable, it took you out of the story. And I would prefer to have had an actress or a singer that I didn't know to really stay within the 100-acre woods. Like, I don't think that there were hipsters living in the 100-acre woods.
I feel like ultimately, for a movie that doesn't have a lot of newness to it, it was kind of nice to have this fresh, Zooey Deschanel soundtrack. It was actually something that I really needed.
Okay, Zooey Deschanel, that shows how different, our opinions are, because in my opinion, Zooey Deschanel is the only bad thing about the movie. And we Chinese people have an idiom. 一颗老鼠屎坏了一锅粥. And what that means is that a single piece of rat poop can spoil the entire pot of kanji.
Wow.
See, I got this great English saying, which is Zooey Deschanel is lovely.
Well, let's actually talk about directing.
Well, I really think you need to give them credit for keeping the integrity of the originals. And there's this nostalgia to the piece that is really refreshing and really nice, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, I feel like I was actually flipping through an old children's book. Especially, if you guys have noticed it, Winnie the Pooh's eyebrows as well as Tigger's stripes, they're not completely just filled with solid blacks. They're actually filled with black lines that move along with the character's movements.
It has a very painterly quality to it, I think. And it feels, in a lot of ways, like it's an illustration from a storybook that's come to life, which, speaks to my inner kid.
I think it's a testament to the fact that, simple drawings can still capture our imagination.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't just need to pop out on the screen.
I don't think that we can actually go further on the topic of Pooh. So, gentlemen, do you want to take your tickets? Wayne, you want to start us off?
Despite how I feel about Zooey Deschanel, I actually really, really like this movie. I really love the aesthetics of it. I love the story. So I'm going to say see it.
I thought it was cute. I thought it was charming. I thought it was nostalgic. The voice acting was great. The animation was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit short, but I think it'll be good for the kids. I say see it.
Winnie the Pooh, it's sweet, it's smart, it's utterly beguiling. If you don't like this movie, you are not a real person. See it.
I'll always be comfortable in 100 Nigger Woods, no matter what. And I think the cast is great, and I think they do a really great job of keeping the spirit of the original films. But there's not enough newness here for me to recommend it to people who want to go to the movie theater. And for that reason, I say you can either just watch the old ones on VHS, or you can wait for this one and stream it.
So that's 3.5 tickets for a see it for Winnie the Pooh. All right, gentlemen. I do feel it's kind of sacrilegious to drink alcohol and toast to Winnie the Pooh, but I kind of like it.
Pooh is addicted to honey, so it's perfectly fine in my opinion.
Cheers.
Cheers.